Okay, this is my semester project. So I selected Coastal Carolina's AUP report to develop 3 cost saving and 3 revenue enhancing strategies. My first cost saving strategy is team travel. And so what you could do for that is it's expensive to travel, whether you're going close or far, but in my mind, if it's a state away, you don't really need to fly. You could always take a bus there, and that'll save you a ton of money. So I would use buses a lot more for like a lot of in conference games are very close, so I would not spend that much for that. And then the second thing I said, don't stay in the most expensive hotel. There's other great hotels at a great value that don't cost so much money. I get that it's Division One and everybody wants to stay in the nicest thing, but at the end of the day, you want to save some type of money, and you don't be needing living in a 5-star hotel for the weekend when you could save a lot of money and it can go towards other things like equipment and stuff. My third reasoning would be for the whole team not to travel would save. Maybe if you have to use 2 buses, you could only have to use one because you're not bringing, your injured players or people that don't even suit up that are players that are not even playing, maybe like red shirts and stuff like that. And I guess, yeah, the practice squad players was another example too you could do. But they don't need to be at every single away game. It just causes a lot of mess. My second cost saving strategy would be equipment, uniforms, and supplies. So for this, I took one from each. But so with the supplies, you don't need to be buying, like let's say in football's sake, multiple jugs machines. Like you don't need to overbuy them because they're really expensive, and there's other ways for receivers to train. Yeah, it's great to have one or two, but you don't need to have multiple. You don't need to overbuy, and it's just a waste of money sometimes. And the same goes for baseball, like with a pitching machine. You could have people pitch to them instead of using the machine, but obviously it's essential to have it, but you don't need to have too many. And so the second thing I'd have to say about uniforms would be you really only need a home and away, and I know some schools really use multiple uniforms, like the University of Oregon, for example. They have like, I don't know, 10 different jerseys, which is crazy, but it's in my mind it's a waste of money. I guess you could have an alternate maybe, or even a jersey to support like maybe like paying for breast cancer awareness or something like that. But I wouldn't have too many. I wouldn't go more than 3, I'd say, and you could save a lot of money that way. And then finally, I'd say you don't like with the equipment that these athletes are given. They are given. I couldn't even tell you how many shirts and clothes they probably get. Shirts, shorts, sweatpants, sweatshirts, and it's multiple. And I think that you could cut down on that even a little bit, and it'll make a big factor. You'll save a lot of money that way too. I definitely believe that. But I do believe that you should be having the best equipment available because you want to keep everybody safe. So you can't really cut too much on that. So that's what I have to say about that. And then my final saving strategy would be the student athlete meals when they don't travel, just when they're on campus. You don't need to buy the highest quality, like all the way at the top, like something that is just way too expensive. You can go a little bit lower and something that's still good and obviously safe to eat. But you need to find a balance, obviously, something that's safe, is what I just said. And I think there's a lot of different options you can go with that, but I think some schools do overpay with what they serve their athletes, where they don't need to do that sometimes. And then the third reasoning would be not to overbuy on food. I think that you should, I don't know, maybe monitor it for like, I could say a month, and you just see what goes, what doesn't, what gets thrown out all the time, and all that stuff. And you don't have to overbuy on everything in the end. So if you can find a ratio, find what you can cut what really doesn't even be needed, then you could just get rid of that and you're saving a lot of money off that right there. So now I move on to my revenue enhancing strategy, and the first one is guarantees. So I said for Coastal, for example, like our football team is a rising program. They They're top 25. Looks like it'll be again this year. So there are teams that want to go out there and play them. We should be actively pursuing Power 5 teams, trying to get on their schedule. And I guess at first, if we have to go travel to them, then yeah, we go travel to them. But by doing that, they're going to pay us to come because they're going to make a lot of money off that too. It's a top 25 matchup. So with BYU and Coastal, I can't even think how much money the game made. It's crazy. But if we schedule these games, we go out there and play these teams, then eventually they're going to come to us, and if we can get a Power 5 team to come here, oh, we're going to make tons and tons of money. And I know it's a long shot, but you got to go travel there first. And if we could win some games against the Power 5 ranked teams, then I believe that eventually they would come to us. I don't see why not. My second strategy would be to host camps for the recruits or student athletes. If by doing this, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think it would cost a ton of money, and I think it's a win-win because you're gonna make a ton of money off it. There are a lot of kids, so many kids around the country that are starting to film out, trying to get recruited. So if we can have that camp and see face to face what the kids got, you'll get a lot of people to come. For another example, I did football. Even you could use baseball too. By having these camps, there's gonna have kids from all around the country travel here for this camp because they're gonna want to get recruited and they're gonna come here. I think it's a really good idea. And then finally, for my third sponsorship strategy would be sponsorship. So I believe that we should be going after the bigger companies. Like I know, for example, we have Under Armour. So by people seeing that Under Armour sponsors us, they're gonna want to buy our stuff, which we're gonna make money. They're gonna make money. It's a win-win. So we could go to anywhere. We're sponsored. We could go to restaurant industry, like anything like that, clothing, anything. But if we can get a sponsorship with our school and like our athletic program, it's a great way to make money because people are going to see it, get intrigued, and it'll look good.